What's up, everyone? You should know me. That's all I'm saying.
Yep, I'm here. 5-2 record, top three right now. Hopefully, we can get top one.
You gave him that one?
Dude, yeah, I had a rough patch in my life. I had many rough patches in my life, so more to come. I'll let you go ahead, King. You're on the cover of the step back. I'll let you go ahead and talk your
Okay.
shit.
Yeah, there was really just one guy that I had it out for in the past few weeks or so that I wanted to kind of like let everyone know. And this goes for everybody, but I'm just saying it because it's my friend Manny, Team Marino or Bad Team. Um, I think I was looking at his schedule, and if he had set his lineup, he would be like 6-1 right now, or like 5-2 at the time. Every matchup that he lost, it was like he could have kept Daniel Wu from being undefeated. Um, I think he beat like another one or two like top ranked teams, or lost. Yeah, he lost them by like 4 or 5, and he would have won if he just like put one of the guys in. Like I think he had John Morant out. He had Gobert on the bench. So no, he knows. He gets it. Let this be the final warning. 'Cause- Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, he's only gonna get better from here on out because Carl Anthony Towns is out.
Mathurin is still also on his.
Dude, I'm just gonna go ahead and mention two people. One, my rival, Gerard. He has been saying so much in the chat, talking so much shit in the chat, just for his team to be have a negative record. He doesn't even have a winning record. He's not even like top five, top eight, like right now. He's nothing right now. And the fact is that he needs to understand that he needs to move a lot more. He needs to go ahead and take more of those risks and those trades. He's always trying to stump somebody. He's always trying to make people feel like that he won the trade, but really and essentially, he I don't think he knows what categories to go for. Um, like even this past week, he was supposed to lose to Isaac, but Isaac with the injuries and everything, of course. But we had a talk, me and Gerard, and he said that he was trying to target a low seed this year, which doesn't make sense because it doesn't even look like he's going to get a low seed now. So even if he gets that low seed, he's just going to get swept by Daniel Wu, maybe Jude, Carlo,
Even his dad.
his dad. Like it looks like he could get swept by anybody at this point. He really needs to make some changes. Otherwise, he's probably gonna have to retire. He's only gonna make appearances on the step back, and that's about it. So,
Should have retired
and this
last year.
next, hmm,
I really thought Gerard would be number one.
well,
Seems
it's
like
on.
that's all he
It
does.
honestly sucks though too. And no, with Gerard, yeah, Gerard's always wanting to fleece somebody, and he's kind of got that little reputation behind him. But the thing is that this just also goes to show how important it is to draft. Like your number does count in the draft, and you got to use that like really, really, really good because I felt like he didn't have a great draft this season,
Oh, for sure.
so that kind of set him back a long way. Um, Now he's come on top on some of these trades and everything like that, and it's just unfortunate because they're injured. Um, my advice I think is just you got to move Kawhi, dude. Like whatever you can get for him that seems decent. Like you just can't trade a superstar for another superstar for Kawhi. Kawhi's just been injured. He's unpredictable this season. It's halfway in the season. Playoff Kawhi might be different, but right now regular season Kawhi, he's not looking like the best pickup option. And the next person I want to talk to is Step Tad. Stepdad, dude, I've been looking at your record and you're 1-6, but it's like you have like good pickups, and I just don't understand. He has Harrison Barnes, Chris Paul, even though he's out. James Harden has been out for a month. If I was him, I would have been shopping for James Harden. Um, at this point, and now to come back from a 1-6 deficit, I mean that's going to be pretty hard. You have to win probably probably all your matchups we're here in this next week in order to make the play in or something like that. And it's just he has some good pieces. He had some good pieces that he could move around, but now I feel like it's just too late for him. So Stat I wish we could have made a trade with James Harden. I understand your decision. I respect it. But now you're 6-1. So it's kind of like I guess I'll see you next year or something because I don't know what to do now.
Uh, yeah, I mean he has a pretty nice squad with. I mean Harden obviously Harden was only supposed to be out for like a month. Um,
Yeah.
but a month is a pretty long time. He has like Mo Bamba, which he's out. Chris Paul, which good pickup. Derek White, which is he's gonna get you a little something something, and then
Valanciunas is I like
Valanciunas is
Valanciunas.
eating though.
Yeah, Valanciunas is nice. I mean, obviously Harrison Barnes. I mean, he's always going to give you consistent numbers here and there. He's a pretty consistent player. Royce O'Neal, which has been great for the Brooklyn Nets. I wasn't even too fond of him when I was trying to trade for him, but like looking at his stat, he's an all around player. I mean, he gets you rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, points here and there. Like, he has pieces and he just needs to, he just needed to move a couple pieces, and he could have been at least maybe like a top 6 player, top 7 player, in my opinion, the way I was thinking about his team.
Yeah.
But he that just goes to show like this is a competitive league. You just can't sit on your team and not try to make any trades. I mean, well, he did try to make that one trade with Gerard, but I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and call it that was a fleece.
Yeah, it was a fleece. It was a fleece. Like he
It
asked
was
me about it. He asked me about it, and I was like, "Yo, you got to ask for a little bit more," because I was like, "You're gonna get fleeced."
Yeah,
And Tad knows basketball. He watches it from time to time, but like he's not as into it. But he knows his numbers and everything like that. So it's unfortunate for him. But like a big thing also is that the playoffs start the 30th. We do have a little bit more time. Few more weeks. I think we're looking at how many weeks? We're in what? Week 8, I believe, or
I think we're in week 9.
week 9?
No, we're in week 8. We're in week 8. We're in week 8.
Okay, so we're in week 8, and it goes all the way to week 15. So we're about 7 weeks. Like realistically, right? If Tad wins all his matchups, right, goes to 7-6, potentially could make playoffs. So yeah, next thing we're going to talk about is notable Discord comments. I don't know if you guys have the slide deck or something like that, but like y'all can kind of see which what comments I'm looking at. I made one today. I was like, "Hey yo, something about beating Hong and Alvin's team. It's like I'm whooping ass twice because they're 2 people." And Alvin was like, "Yo, I'm looking for some wins. Hit me up if y'all got any." And we gotta talk about Isaac's comment where he was like, "Yo, the Lakers got squirted on in the buzzer beater," and I was like, I was sitting there, I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about?" So Isaac, you want to explain yourself?
Yeah, you guys should have seen the message under that you cropped out. I said Gerard took my phone, but nobody wants to cover that.
Nah, we didn't see that message. No, nah, that is true. That is true.
Yeah, that is like some crazy verbiage that you got going on. Squirted on. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like,
Gerard,
Did you happen to watch that game though, Freddie?
it was like Westbrook had like 2 buzzer beaters, right?
It was against the Pacers or something.
yeah, Pacers had a game winner on the Lakers.
Oh,
It was like
okay. I didn't see
only
that.
a half court shit. It was like a half court buzzer beater. Just not supposed to happen.
Yeah, the Lakers are actually getting kind of good right now. Anthony Davis is going crazy.
Yeah, and
Inconsistent.
yeah, Anthony Davis is is he an MVP conversations? I don't know. I don't know, but he's been
on the ladder right now.
yeah, I mean, but he's been doing some crazy numbers these last few games.
Because in order right now, it's Jason Tatum. Tied for second is Luka Doncic and Jokic. Then fourth right now is Giannis. Because Giannis is having a pretty good season. And then fifth right now is Devin Booker. So that's interesting that he's not even getting that nod, but NBA will figure it out. It's their league.
Yeah, come like around All-Star break, he'll definitely pass Devin Booker on that MVP ladder for sure.
Oh, for sure. All right.
Man,
So next slide. So we're gonna actually look at the current standings, right? So D-Woo and Saul Goodman basically are the top two teams. D-Woo was undefeated until last week, where he lost to Saul Goodman. Basically, it was like a 5-4, pretty close. Then it's you, David. You're at number 3. 4 is Kyle Tran with the Seattle Hardens. I actually lost to him week 1. Pretty decent team. Then at 5th, it's me. Then it's Jude with his team at 6. 7 is David with Tank for Tatum. Then Isaac at 8. Winston, as in Gerard's dad, at 9. Quintessential Bros, 10. Justin at 11. The one who knocks is Jaron, I believe. That's 12. Young Syrup, I think that's
Cody.
That's Cody, yes. That is Cody. 14, Sleeping Giants. 15, Himmy Turner, which is my brother. He got a win last week against Bad Team, and Bad Team is literally right below him at 16. Doesn't set his roster. 17 is Team Peng. 18 is my little brother Mike. 18. Then rounding out the bottom is Tad and Alvin and Hong, who are a joint team.
bless their heart. Bless their heart.
Overall, in these standings, what do you guys have of overall thoughts? And how do you guys think things will shake up?
So I'll go first on this one. Carlo has a great team. Like he really does. I mean, and I had him winning over Wu last week. I mean, just he always does good in the fantasies. I'm trying to load up so he just has great pickups. He's always on the waivers and trying to pick up people, and someone's injured or something like that. Because right now, Tyrese Halliburton is hurt right now. He's out.
He's having a great season too.
Yeah, he's having a great season. He picked up Jeremy Grant, which he's having a great season on Portland. Yeah. DeAndre Ayton, Vucevic, Bucha, and it's like if he wasn't as active on the waivers, I feel like he'd be a little bit lower. He definitely wouldn't have earned number 1, but he's being consistent. He's being, he's actually taking this league, very seriously because there's other people, scoping out those waivers, and he's been making some fire pickups, I will say. Now I think Jaren is on the come up because he was dealing with some injuries, and he still has Brandon Ingram out. But Siakam came back, and that's really helped his team out a lot. LeBron, coming back is also helping out his team a lot. I mean, his team is going to get fired up here pretty soon. And then Cody's team. Cody, oh my goodness, your team is a scoring machine. Last week I was looking at Cody's stats, and he had 88 3-pointers.
He has right now. He has basically 4 members of his team. Simons, like Anfrey Simons, Kelly Oubre, who's at 19.8, but we'll give it basically that's 20. Kyrie and Donovan Mitchell, who are basically all averaging above 20 this season.
Yeah, like it's really crazy how much his team has turned around, because his team was looking. I think he was winless in the beginning of the season, and now he's kind of turning it around. I mean, he's a serious contender now for sure.
Yep.
So those are my surprises right there. I mean, those GMs have been putting in work. And it's kind of interesting to see. Freddie, I think your team has been looking pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, when I first played you, I was like, who does he have on his team?
That matchup, bro. Okay, well, first off, let me say, Cody was 0-4 at the beginning of the season. He's won the last 3, to sneak into 13th. So he's doing pretty well. And number 2, when I faced you, Jokic had COVID, and then like Hero just fucked up his ankle. So there was just no. I was just like the worst week. Or I would have put up more of a fight, but it's whatever.
No, but you had some fire pickups. You were I don't did you draft yeah, you did draft Norman Powell. Like that was a fire pickup. I mean, just looking at the Clippers and Paul George being out, Kawhi Leonard being out, he's a great pickup. I mean, Zach Collins also like for some reason. I mean, your team's looking pretty good.
Something I also
I'm
note too, like, because we were talking about pickup order, and this is something to like just discuss in general. But I think it sucks to be that number one pick because it's like you pick once, right? And our league is so deep; it's 20 teams, right? I didn't get to pick until 20 players later. Like, I'd rather be someone in the middle rather than someone at the end. So I honestly thinking about that. I was like, I'd rather get like two bigger pieces than like a big piece and maybe a mid-sized piece. That's what
right.
I'm
No,
thinking
yeah,
about.
that's made sense for sure. What are your views on the current standings?
I think honestly, what we have right now with like the actual ranks that we have as of this week are pretty accurate. Everyone up to, which is me, I'm number 8.
Yeah,
I
and
think
then you'd be going against Saul Goodman in the if the playoffs played out right now, you'd be
in the first round.
Mhm.
So I think if anything, it would have to come to like either I get knocked out if my team stays unhealthy and I just kind of like go 5-4, 5-4, like win loss win loss. I think it can be like really troubling for me. Or teams like on the 7, 6, 8,
Yeah.
like that have injuries currently, or like lingering injuries, or injuries that started stacking up. But I think that two people I have that I think will be able to make it is Jonathan, the quintessential,
Yeah.
and Cody, just because there's like by virtue of being so active, like really active managers. I think that I could see them
Yeah.
working their way out of that into the playoff run.
Yeah, and talking about active managers, that brings me to my next slider over here because, again, Quintessential Bros has, and this is just like the season statistics overall, but Quintessential Bros has 41 moves, which is the most out of um, any GM right now. And then Cody also has, Cody only has 7 this season, actually. So he's been kind of sticking with his squad, and I think a big thing also that kind of made him take a lot of losses was Kyrie with his whole anti-Semitic comments and whatnot. So, which is something that is just like, bro, I don't know. Kyrie was kind of doing his own thing there, but it did hurt Cody's roster. So, he has the potential to climb back up there. And yeah, it's interesting. I didn't put these in like any specific order, but I look at like Saul Goodman's like statistics. Like basically, there's a lot of stats where he's just kind of number one in a lot of those categories. Where I'm just like, damn. He's like number one in rebounds, in assists. He's like at least he's top 5 in that. He's top 2 in steals, top 2 in blocks, and then in turnovers, which is so crazy, is that he's bottom 4, which is such a good stat to have. Because it just means that your team isn't turning over that much. But then in points, he's top 5. So he's basically top 5 in every single category except for what's it called? Free throw percentage, which and like free throw percentage is just kind of one of those things. Actually, take that back. Saul Goodman, he has some of the most turnovers in the whole entire thing, which is ideally not good. The least amount of turnovers in the league so far is we have Team Pang and then Tad, then Alvin and Hong, and then Gerard, which is like this that top 4. But yeah,
So you're seeing what all these people that have like low turnovers. Do you think how important do you feel like a category as turnovers? How important is that in a league? How do you think someone should value the amount of turnovers that they get?
So it really depends, right? Because like I was thinking about it last year, right? I believe last year I had Westbrook and I had another really ball dominant player. I had two really ball dominant players, but Westbrook is very turnover prone. So there was a lot of matchups where I was like, okay, I'm gonna punt turnovers, but then everything else is gonna be fine. And turnovers are a really annoying category stat because it's just like if you have people on your team or on your team that are him for their squads, right? You're gonna run into a lot of turnovers in general, but it's a matter of minimizing them. So I always feel like the best approach to a lot of fantasy squads, I don't know if y'all agree, it's just like having one guy that you know is gonna be him regardless, like a LeBron, like a Kyrie, like somebody who's always gonna be like James Harden, who's always gonna be ball dominant, and like be like, okay, they're just gonna do their thing, and then having a lot of people who can just like kind of fill in those categories around them, more role players, people who are getting at least like 20, like 25 minutes a game, just kind of doing their little thing and can kind of you know contribute how they can. Because I mean, to be honest, it is very tough to like again breaking top five in all those categories can be very tough to do. Like I'm looking at myself right now, I'm like mid season and everything, maybe except for like field goal percentage, but then my turnovers are just so high because of I forget who turns over the most on my squad, but like it's I have Hero who turns over a shitload. Jokic this year has been turning over a lot. Josh Giddey, who last year was a lot better than this year, I'll say, has been turning over quite a bit, which has been really frustrating to be honest, because I'm like, he was like, I think he was like he was my third round pick, and he's just making me upset. But yeah, I don't know. Like, what do you guys think is like kind of like this season has been like the most wanting statistic overall?
Most what?
Wanting statistic. Like, what do you feel like there's like out of like most squads, what do you think is like the make or break between matchups most of these weeks?
What I've been noticing is that a lot of people are looking for like scoring, and that comes with some rebounds and an assist. I definitely think people have not been really paying attention to steals and blocks as much, because some people feel like that's just kind of like a fluctuating statistic. Like unless you have a top five player that has steals, or like top five player that has blocks, you're not going to get the same consistent stats like as you would in rebounds and assists. So I feel like it is not targeted as much. I really do feel like 3-pointers, points, rebounds, assists, and if they can win it out with field goal percentage and free throw percentage, I mean, it kind of comes down from it. But 3-pointers, rebounds, assists, and points are the most consistent categories that you can see from a player, because you can have, for example, I have Ben Simmons. So I was mainly going for him for rebounds and assists, but before he got injured, dude, his field goal percentage was so high. I mean, He literally was 8 for 8, and it's just kind of like you don't expect that from Ben Simmons. So that also is kind of like you can have a surprise, and I don't know if there's any players on your team where you're like, oh, he's going to give me great field goal percentage, and then doesn't, or vice versa. Yeah. But I feel like those categories are just kind of hard to predict,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, like. Yeah. I think a big thing is like again, like I think those steals and blocks are pretty hard to come by. And Isaac, you're about to say something? Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna agree with both of y'all that people really just kind of look over steals and blocks and turnovers. I think those are the categories that you kind of or a lot of managers don't really know how to plan around. Yeah. And in my case, in my team, I think almost everyone I have averages like at least one steal. So I know I was like first in steals like last week, and I'm still maybe like top 3 or something.
Yeah.
So when it comes to my strategy, what I do is I kind of just try to draft around 2 or 3 categories, and then see what else falls, or like see what else I happen to be good at. And let's say I get like I'm surprisingly good at turnovers this year. If I'm like somewhat competitive in it, I sort of try to make sure I trade around that or not try to give it up too much,
Yeah.
just to conserve that one, like that one good thing that I have.
Yeah, and yeah, you are top 3 in steals, which is it's pretty good. And then you're top 5 in rebounds too. So that's
I
that's
just need my boy Charlie to come back.
who?
LaMelo.
Mello.
Lamelo. Oh, dude, man, it's just like the
I
way he
forget I even
got
have
injured was just so sad, man.
It's
Came
so
back for a
ridiculous.
little bit, and then I think he stepped on a reporter or something like that.
Yeah, he stepped on a fan's foot,
Yeah.
courtside.
Just I don't know. That's some bullshit. But yeah, we'll go on to the next segment, which is GM of the month, right? And I put a quote here by Gerard, right, that says, "Ain't no way Daniel's garbage team is still undefeated." That was last week before he got a defeat this week. So I'll leave it up to you guys, David, David and Isaac. So I guess David or Isaac first, actually. Who do you think right now is that GM that's of the month, or I mean, we can even take it further. The GM of the whole thing. Like, who do you think is really that manager who's managing their team to the fullest?
I'm gonna vote for Carlo. Honestly, his team has just been, it's kind of like one of those silent teams that might be 2-2, and then 5 weeks later they're 7-2, or like they'll just pick up any. Carlo has like a really good ability of like scouring the waivers and trying to form or like trying to tweak his team throughout the week, and he does that throughout every matchup. So that's something that kind of separates teams like Carlo, really active teams, as well as or just generally any active team. But in his case, because he's also really good at drafting, I think that he just has like a really like he has an upper hand in most things, and he's taken advantage of it so far.
Yeah. What about you, David?
Yeah, I was gonna go ahead and say Carlo, but since Isaac has been kind of hitting on Carlo, I'll go ahead and just say, dude, Justin, you have been surprising me. This last week when I saw that Karl Anthony Towns went down and he's gonna be out for like 4 to 6 weeks. I was like, oh yeah, I mean, Justin, he's gonna be a freebie, but he's actually been pretty active ever since that, and I mean, he pulled off a great trade and ended up getting Mikal Bridges. That's a great pickup, and I've seen him being active on the waiver lines. He even tried to make a trade with me, which I rejected, but he's active. He's looking to try to find ways to still win with his main star being out. I mean, Karl Anthony Towns and Al Horford out. And by the way, Al Horford's having another great season. He has to recover from that. I mean, especially Karl Anthony Towns, and he's been doing a pretty good job about it. I mean, he's been top. I think is he? I don't even know if he's top 5 in rebounds, but I mean, he's been having a lot of assists. I mean, his categories are very, very, very strong. So I'm pretty sure as the season goes on, he'll be able to figure it out. And then once he's at a steady pace, Karl Anthony Towns will be back, and then he'll definitely be a threat in this league.
Honestly, I'm looking at his roster, and I remember facing him earlier, and the character, the player that really like shakes me to the core, and I'm thinking about it because he was the reason I almost lost. Is like Darius Garland is just playing fucking ridiculous. Like I remember he had like a 51-point game or something like that. The week we played, and he was just going off. He was super efficient. Had like a few assists during that, a few steals. I was like, holy shit! But Darius Garland for him has been very, very consistent. And yeah, Cat going down it kind of sucks, but like it is what it is. But like for me, it's been D Woo, and mainly because D Woo like last year like completely didn't win a single game. And this year he's like turned it around, just doing super well. I'm more just happy for him in general. Something to look out for is Beal. Beal actually did pick up an injury, so that's going to be maybe an issue for him because he left in the against the Lakers yesterday with some hamstring tightness.
Yep.
But like, yeah, I'm just looking at his roster, like Picked up Pat Bev, which I'm surprised he hasn't dropped yet because Pat Bev, all he does is run around and scream and then fouls people.
Yeah, I mean, like, for him being a defensive player, I mean, he's not really grabbing you a lot of steals or blocks, you know?
Yeah. But, like, I wish some of those statistics of, like, maybe forcing a guy on their right and making them miss and all this other stuff, that won't ever be picked up on the stat sheet. Like,
Yeah.
which kind of sucks, right? Because those are not or stats we really care about. But, that's more based on the eye test. Like, but Pat Bev is, he's one of those guys that I look at and I'm just like, you're going to drop 40 on him, but, like, at the same time, he's going to give you all that mouth and just be real annoying in the process. But, yeah, next one we'll go on to is the doo-doo GM of the month. As in, like, which GM do you feel like is just not holding their weight? Maybe you should try again next year. And then also, let me throw in another thing. And what do you think would make them... What do you think would make them competitive if they wanted to turn around this halfway point in the season? And I'll give the floor to you, David.
I will go ahead and say step tag. And I've kind of touched on this before. I mean, he really was riding on James Harden. And honestly, like, when James Harden got hurt, he should have been trying to find moves just like Justin did. Justin did a great job trying to pick up off the waivers. And really, I mean, he's just kind of rode his team out, and he's kind of seen the results of that, and having a 1-6 record. I mean, what I would do if I was him, I would immediately move James Harden at this point in time because he should be coming back soon. But I mean, get depth for your team. Like, I mean, really, because you have Chris Paul. I mean, he's always had injuries. I mean that's predictable. Mo Bamba's always had injuries. And then, just along with the rest of your other players, they could be up and down, And so I would just go ahead and trade James Harden for, I would say, 2 top 50 players if possible. Play around with the players that you have right now. But, I mean, I would definitely include James Harden as that piece. You need to go ahead and, try to turn that stuff around. And then maybe you'll have a chance at, getting a low seed. But, I mean, if you keep on riding the way your team is right now, I just don't see it happening. You go ahead, Isaac.
Yeah, what you got, Isaac?
I think sounds like he's not gonna like this, but I'm gonna do Gerard.
Oh! Shots fired.
Gerard, I'm sorry, but you can't call yourself a sleeping giant when you're like 3-4.
Ooh.
And I know we're only 1 game apart, and he beat me with an injured squad. We both had an injured squad, so you can't really make any strong statements when you're winning, like very sparsely. So I think Gerard should stop trying to fleece and should try to do like honest trades. He's offered people like Andre Drummond, who he just dropped in trade packages. And it's just stuff like that you kind of just want to like ask him what he's doing. Like,
I kind of understand what you're saying, just because the fact is that like he'll give you, like for me, for example,
try to give you scraps.
Well, we were basing Zach LaVine off of either I think it was Ben Simmons, and no, he didn't even offer me Key. He offered me Gordon Dragic, like someone that
could be not having the best season.
Yeah, and he knows that. Like, Gerard knows basketball. It's not like he doesn't, but he still throws it out there. Like, I guess he does great at his job at like selling things, because he really like makes it seem like it's the best trade that you can do, and like that no one else can do better. Luckily, I was able to pull out Lonnie Walker out of that trade, so that was I feel like that was the one for me.
Balling right now.
Yeah, Lonnie's balling, and then Ben Simmons, when healthy, I mean, he kind of turned it around. So it's interesting to see what he would do coming back off that injury. But literally, I mean, he said that he fleeced me, but he kind of was quick to trade Colin Sexton, and Zach LaVine. I mean, he's great, but like when Zach has an off night, I mean, you're losing points. He doesn't really add much value to any other categories. He'll give you a few rebounds, few assists, maybe a steal or maybe a block. but primarily he's just scoring. So, I mean, Gerard, I mean, I think what you would want to do is, I mean, just you always say that we go for big star names, but maybe that's what you should do. Maybe you should put the package together to get a big star on your team because right now Kawhi, even when he came back and he was balling, he was only giving you like 6 points, like 4 rebounds, 2 assists. Like, you know, right now he's not. You shouldn't bank on him right now, especially at this point of the season. I feel like you should really target a big name superstar, and then maybe your squad will be able to turn around because the waivers are not it.
Yeah.
What do you think, Freddie?
I mean, in general, like, uh, my worst manager right now is, and I'm gonna be critical of him. It's probably my little brother with the Kuma America triggers. Like, I don't know. It's just like, okay, so my little brother. You guys probably, yeah, you guys have never seen him or met him. Like this man basically had the chance to go D1 in basketball, all this other stuff, like. And he's like 6'5", huge dude, still balls today. He knows ball, right? And every year he swears he's gonna like ball us up in Magic because he's like, bro, I know this shit, blah, blah, blah. And then he just forgets to set his roster. Like he has Jalen Green on the bench, all of the matchup last week. He's basically giving people free wins. So like, you know, I'm gonna say he's garbage, man, because he needs to step that shit up and like actually pay attention. But like, you know, I'm not gonna sit there and be like, hey yo. Like, I mean, when you're losing a matchup 8-1 and your only statistic that you actually win is like turnovers, it's just like, man. But
That's so bad.
yeah, it's not good. But you know, it is one of those things. Like again, like Saturday, for instance, he just forgot to move Jalen Green. Jalen Green was punting though. I mean, he was like 6 for 19, but still, you kind of need those stats. Something.
Freddie, I have one tip for the doo-doo GM adjacent people. Is to set an alarm on your phone, or you know, do it once a week. Right? You can set your lineup in advance. You can do it like on a Friday or whatever, and you can do it for all of December, and you'll be set. You don't even have to look at your fantasy app. If you're not gonna do trades, if you're not gonna like, if you're not gonna stream people, you should just set your lineup and you know call it a day and see. That's better than not doing anything. You know.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's a great piece of advice because for me, it's Monday mornings when I'm like at work on my like basically like you know I'm sending my like stash report to my manager and also on top of that like setting my lineup for the week and I just don't look at it until like later on the week or like maybe my girlfriend will remind me. She'll be like, hey, like how's your fantasy matchup going? I'll be like, oh shit. But like most of the time I have it set for the week, so it's like whatever. But
you got to be careful with those weekend games because you can get got by one of those 12 p.m. games and then you can't add anyone.
Yep, and you'll be just destroyed and you'll be like, fuck. Yep, that can happen too. But it's also like, I mean midweek adjustments make sense too. It's just like looking at your matchup, seeing what you're supposed to be doing and stuff like that. So it's just like, I mean, my advice to most of those GMs who are just not putting in that work, just pay attention. That's all it really takes. But yeah, we're going on to our next segment, which is Would You Rather? All right, so basically I'm going to give you two players, and you basically say, I guess in a fantasy sense, since we're doing fantasy, who would you rather on your team? Because it's like, versus like, you know, build your franchise around because it's a little different. So the first people we have is Luka Doncic and Jason Tatum. Who would you rather? And I'll let you go first, David.
Oh, this is an easy one. You got to go with Luka. I mean, he's grabbing you rebounds, he'll have assists, you know, he'll have like a couple of defensive stats in there every single night, and he's just scoring unbelievably. I mean, think about how the Dallas Mavericks are set up. You know, like the person who has the ball in their hands most of the time is who? Luka. I mean, Jason Tatum, I mean, you know, he has great nights, but I mean, when he's not performing, they can either run it through Jaylen Brown. I mean, they're just like the Celtics are just not a selfish team. Like they're they play really well together. Versus, when you're on the Mavs with Luka's the main superstar. I mean, he's ball dominant. I mean, he's gonna have high turnovers, of course, but I mean, everything else. I mean, he's like on the verge of getting triple doubles, like almost every other night. So I gotta go with Luka.
Yeah, I'm gonna do Luca as well. On a fantasy perspective, I think you can say that they're pretty much the same, but I would still go with Luca just because I trust him more with those percentages, with like field goal percentages. I think that Jason is because I had Jason Tatum on my team last year, and so just like looking at his like overall trends, he would have like maybe like a week where he would just do like four for 13, or go 4 for 13, or go like 17 for 38 or something. Like he would make a ton of shots and just like tank his field goal percentage. So I think if you're doing like maximizing stats, I think Luka's your shot because he gets everything else that Tatum gets, and he's also more consistent with I think he's more consistent with percentages.
Well, something I want to note. According to hashtag basketball.com, because they do fantasy basketball ratings with all the statistics and whatnot. According to the overall ranking, they have Jason Tatum at 7 and Luka at 9, and Luka is actually just kind of below just because of his free throw percentage, which is 71% versus like Jason Tatum's 87, and also Jason Tatum turns over less. But I think about who Jason Tatum has out there, right? Marcus Smart can handle the ball. Jaylen Brown can handle the ball. Derek White can handle the ball from time to time. Versus Luka.
Al Horford. Yeah, Al Horford's a great one too. I mean, go ahead, Freddie.
Versus like Luka, who really is just himself. Like, I mean, like he had Brunson last year, but Brunson left to go to New York, which I don't know how the Brunson thing is turning out for him, but like you have like Christian Wood, who is also your other star player as well, but like on top of that, he's not really a ball handler. He'll do everything else for you but handle the ball. So I think that's the thing that kind of brings Luka's stock down a little bit in terms of these higher rankings. But and also a really interesting statistic is that Anthony Davis is rated the highest right now, currently in the season, just because of, I mean, he's been on fire lately. So
yeah.
Next
So wait, who
one.
are you picking?
So what?
Who'd you pick then?
Oh, I'm going Tatum.
Okay.
I'm going Tatum just for this season. Last season it'd be Luka for sure, but Tatum I think is like, at least for my roster, I'm thinking like he would fit in pretty nicely. So, because I have assists with some Giddy and like Andrew Nebar or whatever his name is. He's a rookie from the Pacers who's actually been picking up some playtime, but like Doncic and stuff, I don't really. He's good, but I wouldn't really need him that much. So next people, and these are the people in the Rookie of the Year race right now. Paulo Panchero and Benedict. I don't even know how to say that. It's like Manchuri or something like that.
Mathurin?
Yeah. Guy who said he was better than LeBron, which was crazy to me because I was like, bro, you just started your journey.
Just got there.
So Isaac, I'll let you get this one. Who would you rather take from a fantasy standpoint? And I actually don't know the statistics, so I'm going to be looking them up as we talk. But
Yeah, I'm just gonna talk out of my ass, but I've seen what Paolo can do, and I think he just has that much. Like his ceiling is much higher than Mathurin's, in my opinion. As like an overall, like a well-rounded player, I think he can get more boards. I don't know. He probably averages a lot more, like rebounds and definitely points. I think at least in the last week or so from the stats than Benedict. So I think he just has that factor about him that will just make him a better fantasy player. Like he has more upside.
David, what are your thoughts, man?
Well, as I'm looking through these stats, I am gonna go with Banchero because I mean he just provides more points, and I mean they kind of average around the same rebounds and assists. But I feel like Banchero's on that point in the Orlando Magic where he's definitely going to be at least the first or second option.
Yeah.
I mean, You know, and that's just the thing. You know, they're trying to get the ball in his hands more. I mean, you also deal with a lot of injuries in Orlando. I mean, you know, Wendell Carter, Mobamba, and it's just kind of like those stats that they generate is up for grabs. You know, with the Jalen Suggs is out also as well. I mean, they just have a lot of injuries, and I feel like Banchero it can just benefit off of those injuries more than Mathurin could on a Pacers team.
Yeah, I mean, Panchero, right? According to ESPN, he's in terms of all fantasy players, he's ranked 54 as in 54 best player, and then Benedict right now is at 124. So there is some upside to Panchero, especially, and I'm probably gonna go Panchero as well. I'm actually gonna go see the Magic versus Spurs game the 27th when I'm down there in Florida visiting family. So that's gonna be nice. Might get to see him in person, and well, hopefully he's not injured, but like definitely we'll get to see him in person 2 days before Christmas. But with these injuries and how like back to backs and these boys just like to throw their body around, it's I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And then I got real quickly, Shy Gilgis Alexander, and then Donovan Mitchell. And I chose these two because so the last two were basically the top two for the rookie of the year. These two right now are top two for most improved player. So David or Isaac, I'll let you go for this one first since David went first the last one. But
Yeah, I mean this one's pretty easy. SGA, that's my guy. He's on my team. He's really the one that is responsible for so many of my wins. Like he carries not only like Oklahoma City, but he carries my team too. Right, he averaged like over a block and a half in November, which is completely insane. Like he's up there with all the other like top name centers in the NBA in terms of blocks, just blocks. And he fills the stat sheet with everything, and he's also averaging like 30 points, like 100% free throw percentage on most nights,
yeah,
with like 10 attempts.
yeah, he's
So
92% right now.
yeah, like he just gets every single stat, and he does it really efficiently.
Yeah,
And he hasn't, and the Thunder, surprisingly, they haven't really sucked. At least they're not one of the worst. I mean, you have like the Rockets and
yeah,
Hornets, like much worse. So hopefully, if OKC stays a little competitive, he's not going to be sitting out as much, and I guess that's why.
yeah, yeah. David, what you got, man?
For fantasy basketball, SGA. I mean, he's been producing, a lot of points. I mean, and he's just kind of like, that guy on OKC. I mean, you can get some rebounds for you, some assists. Donovan is it's. I mean, Donovan, he's a great player and everything like that. And actually, if we're just talking just basketball and not fantasy, I'd rather go with Donovan than SGA because I mean, you could see Donovan is like a great leader in Cleveland. Like he just fits in that rotation
He's
so
definitely
well.
elevated that team.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's like you could see he's definitely not stat chase. I mean, he's working on both ends, and I mean, he's definitely a big impact on that Cavaliers team. Um, he gets everybody working because I'm looking at all these Cavalier players. I'm just like, man, all their stats look like great, compared to OKC stats, and, which each the average of each player. I'm just like, man, I mean, really the only people that like that are just really really good is just SGA right now, and
Yeah,
I know you have Dort and everything like that, and OKC's playing around with the rotations every now and then, but I mean, really the main guy you always pay attention to is SGA.
yeah,
And that's why I'm saying for fantasy purposes, he'll get all the stats that I would like. I would rather have SGA. But Donovan, if I wanted to like actually, build like a real franchise in real life around, one of these two players, it'd be Donovan.
yeah. I mean, I'm going SGA both ways just because I'm an OKC fan, and also according to these rankings, SGA right now among all fantasy players is number two. So we have Donovan. Or sorry, not. We have Anthony Davis, Shy, and then we have Kevin Durant at three. But then number 10 down here we have Donovan Mitchell, and Donovan Mitchell has again been having a good season, but like Shy. I mean, considering last year he was pretty much injured most of the time, he's balling, man. He only averages 1.3 3-pointers made this season, but like everything else has just been efficient, man. He's been doing everything else well, and then also he makes Josh Giddey look pretty good because like he'll finish everything Josh Giddey throws at him, and he's on my team, so like I'm loving that shit. And then one just for like shits and giggles, I put Taco Fall and Boban. And let's think about it like this: would you rather a team? Because from a fantasy standpoint, they don't offer much. But would you rather a team of 5 Bobans or would you rather a team of 5 Taco Falls?
I'm going Taco, man. I like Boban, but I mean, like, Boban is not really as like he's. I think Taco's a little bit more mobile than Boban. I mean, like, yeah. I mean, just Boban's just tall as shit. I mean, I don't know if you have this.
Boban could block some shit with his ears, though, bro. Them things. Shit.
Yeah, dude. I mean, just look at them.
Just eat
It's
it.
like, I mean, Ray, I don't know if you have this stat in front of you, but like, who's taller between these two?
Shit, that's a good question. I was thinking. I think it's Taco. Just.
You think it's Taco? I think it's Boban.
So Taco is 7'6". Boban.
Boban.
And Boban's 7'6" or 7'4". So 7'6" and 7'4". So Boban is 2 inches shorter.
Yeah, I'm still gonna go with Taco. I mean, Taco is just I don't know why I like that name too, Taco Fall. I mean, he was a big sensation. I don't even know where these two players are doing right now. So it's just kind of like
Taco. Boban is on right now. He's on the Houston Rockets. He gets garbage time. But Taco right now is in China, and he's balling out. And it's so crazy because like Taco, like another thing that people don't know about is he studied. I believe he studied computer science, but he got offers from Microsoft out of college.
wow.
Yeah, and the boy just decided to play basketball instead. So the dude's smart, super fucking smart. Yeah, he's something else, man. But that's that African in him, cause he averaged. Yeah, cause like African kids, it's like if you're not doing some crazy ass shit like that, man. So yeah, he was a computer science major at UCF when he was there, and he had aspirations to join Microsoft and all that stuff. And apparently he had gotten offers, but like he was just like, I'm gonna go do this instead. But like he had a really good GPA, all that shit, man. He's a smart dude.
Yeah, I remember seeing like his games at UCF.
Damn, you actually saw him live?
You saw it live?
No, I didn't see it live. I just
Like,
remember
on
seeing
TV?
just the hype around whenever he would get on the court.
Bro, I will never forget that that UCF Duke matchup in the Final Four tournament. It was like, and then it was like UCF ended up winning, but it was so crazy because like I don't know, it was just him versus Zion, and then like no Duke ended up winning, I think, just slightly. I forget who won. Who won that one? No,
Totally forgot.
I don't even know.
Duke lost, but it was a really close matchup.
Was that March Madness or something?
Yeah, no, his final matchup, it was 77 to 76. Yeah, it was March Madness, and like he had like 15 points and then like a few blocks, but like man, it was a crazy ass game, man, against Duke. That's what that was Zion's Duke. So, yeah, he was balling out, man.
And that other guy, RJ Barrett, doesn't he also have Duke?
RJ Barrett, yeah. Cam Reddish. Yeah.
Yeah, just for that, just because of this guy being a nerd, I'll take him.
Yeah,
He does it all.
yeah, I'm taking Taco just because he's African. Yeah, you gotta stick together. Wakanda forever, baby. All right, thank you guys so much for your time. Remember, Westbrook is still my GOAT, and then also I want to note again because I think my mic might have been muted at the beginning. I probably have to look back at the footage, but probably not. But again, a new version of the Step Back is coming out soon, and remember, we're halfway through the season, so if you have any like changes or trades you want to do, like now's the time, just for like new owners and everything like that. Any final words from you two?
I'm just gonna go ahead and say, Scotty Barnes. I mean, he's having a fantastic season. I mean, I'm willing to go ahead and give him a trade. I just want to trade. I
Putting
would
him
like
on the chopping block. That's crazy.
trying to get a 2-for-1. I mean, that's what I'm looking for. Again, I'm looking for the rebounds, assists, the steals, the blocks, and 3-pointers. But that's not as important. I'm really just looking for the main things: the rebounds, the assists, the steals, and the blocks. Just like I put in the Discord chat all the time. So if you want Scotty, hit me up. Yeah. Anything else you want to say? No.
I think I'm feeling pretty confident with my team.
Are you gonna make any trades with your team, or are you?
Honestly, I'm not in a hurry to trade because I know I have.
Bro, he said he's gonna run it back to back without no changes. That's crazy.
See, I have Suggs and LaMelo on waivers. I mean on IR, I guess.
I saw that. Yeah.
Getting LaMelo back, it'll be like getting a free trade. So and I was doing great. I was doing great when I had him. I feel like my team was like the best that week that I had like an entirely healthy squad. So if I can just wait it out and end up with like a decent stat line toward like the next few weeks, then I'll start panicking and then I'll start seeing if I can trade.
Oh, that's when when it be too late. I mean, you gotta kind of stay on top of your team and try. It's like chess, Kind of have to see the consistencies.
Yeah. Well, I have faith because I have been consistent when I'm healthy. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
But we'll see.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching. And y'all stay blessed and stay on top of your teams.